Africans are not black. Now hold on, before you go off, let me make my case. The only reason African Americans are black and black South Africans are black is because someone else named us. Are you ready to take the leap and make your blacks it to Africa? I'm an African American expat living my best life in Nairobi, Kenya, and I'm here to help. Within a 1-hour organic consultation, I can guide you through the entire process, from choosing the right country to helping you settle in once you arrive. As someone who has made the journey, I understand how daunting it can be. But with my expertise, you can make your Blaxit with ease. Don't wait another day to start living your best life. Book your consultation today and let's make your Blaxit dreams a reality. Welcome to Blaxit to Africa. I'm Tadre Delora Moignet, a California native living my best life in Nairobi, Kenya. Thank you for coming along for the ride. I hope that you are informed, entertained, and inspired to Blaxit to Africa. Today, I'd like to speak on a topic that continues to come up in personal conversations and online. It's one that is nuanced and has many layers. Let's unpack it now. Let me drop something on you. Africans are not black. Now hold on, before you go off, let me make my case. The only reason African Americans are black and black South Africans are black is because someone else named us. If we drill down even more, we'll see that black South Africans are Zulu and Xhosa and Nguni, etc. They have clans. African Americans and all of us who are descendants of those who were stolen, we don't have the luxury of claiming a particular ethnic group because that knowledge was snatched from us. Unless you have traced your DNA through AfricanAncestry.com, rediscovered your ethnic group, and made the effort to reconnect with your people, which is difficult because where do you start? Like, do I just show up in Sierra Leone and say, hey, I'm Mende, my great-great-great-great-great-grandma is from here. What's up, though? How does that go? But that's another conversation for another day. So here we are in the Americas without knowledge of our ethnic group, clan, or kingdom of origin. And someone else has labeled us black, Negro, nigger from Niger, Guineas as in people from Guinea. If you research the etymology of the word Guinea, it is believed to have derived from the Berber word Akal in Iguanawin, meaning land of the blacks or black people. The name was later adopted by European explorers and traders. Same with Zanzibar, which was a major port in the East African slave trade. I lived in Zanzibar for 1 year, as many of you know. There are forts and slave dungeons dotted up and down the Zanzibari archipelago. The Arabic origin of Zanzibar, according to one theory, suggests that the name Zanzibar is derived from the Arabic word Zanj and Bar, which means black coast or land of the blacks. The term Zanj historically referred to the East African coastal regions and the African people living there. Zanzibaris refer to themselves as Zenjis. In Turkey, to this day, the term Zenji is derogatory and sometimes used to describe anyone of African descent. I was informed by a former Turkish student that apparently there's a square similar to Congo Square in New Orleans in which Africans were bought and sold called Zenj. I haven't been able to find this on the internet, but honestly, I don't doubt it. Another theory about the origins of Zanzibar proposes that the name has Persian roots originating from the words Zanji-bar, meaning coast of the blacks in Persian. This theory is based on the historical influence of Persian traders in the region. If you ever tour the caves in Zanzibar, you will see that archaeologists found Persian and Indian artifacts. In Kizimkazi village, located at the southernmost tip of the mainland, Unguja, they celebrate the Persian New Year. It's a big deal with fireworks, music, and dancing. People come from all over to enjoy the festivities. Do you see where I'm going with this? When a people names itself, the name is tied to folklore, location, history, specialization, as in blacksmithing, beading, spirituality, etc. When a people names other people, we can see from history that when it's done from a place of honor and respect, it's done in their language, which means the spelling and pronunciation will be different. When done from a place of disregard and supposed superiority, there is no effort to get it right. You will be black, red, yellow, nigger, chink, kike, skins, or whatever else comes to mind. Why am I focusing on this topic? I'm really just tired of the judgment and accusations. These diaspora wars are draining and unproductive. And it's often African Americans pointing a finger at Africans. Africans don't like us. Africans think they're better than us. Africans sold us into slavery. That's not it. Yes, there are Africans that definitely be on one, but they are the minority. Honestly, most Africans don't know us beyond what they see on screen. They don't know our history, accomplishments, or struggles, particularly those who have not been formally educated. I have had conversations with Africans that went like this. Where are you from? Or what tribe are you from? I'm a descendant of those who were stolen. What does that mean? Why is that funny? Well, I've never heard anyone describe themselves as such. How is it that you consume African American media, but you don't understand? So you are nigga. Now, we cannot blame them if that's what they know from our music. And then I'll respond with, well, that's not how I choose to describe myself. So you were born in America. And what about your mother and her mother and your grandfather? By the end of the conversation, they understand, but it takes some educating. And from the conversations that I've had with Africans on the continent, they are very disappointed in their national school curriculums. They are extremely dissatisfied with the fact that they learn more about the colonizer than themselves. And that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother time. So how can we expect them to know and relate to blackness in the United States when many are becoming reacquainted with themselves? Africans not identifying as black has nothing to do with self-hate or lack of pride. Africans usually define themselves in this order. First, by ethnic group, which is why they will typically write their last name before their first name. You can immediately tell which ethnic group they are from when you see the surname. And by the way, I am specifically using the term ethnic group as opposed to tribe because tribe often has negative connotations. Although we have tribes in the global north, Europeans are rarely, if ever, described as a tribe. By clan. Within each ethnic group, there are clans or subsets of people that identify with a particular lineage and specialization. For example, with the Bugandas of Uganda, there is a clan that only does the drumming for the king, a clan that is part of the royal court, a clan that replaces the Makuti roofing for the royal palace, a clan that protects the royal family. Each ethnic group has a totem animal. This is an animal that you cannot kill or eat. It was originally instituted to prevent the overpoaching of wildlife. To this day, the ethnic groups that have a totem animal abide by this rule. Gender. Being male affords one with so much privilege. Family station. Firstborn boy or girl, twin, lastborn, mother, father, sister, etc. And usually there is a specific name associated with your family station. In the Buganda kingdom, twins are typically given special names known as Sasabaja for a male twin or Nabagereka for a female twin. And please don't crucify me for my incorrect pronunciations. Family station is extremely important. It confers your level of responsibility and respect granted within a family unit. And lastly, profession. There are so many writers, including Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, who have spoken at length on how they didn't realize they were Black or the weight of being Black until they found themselves in non-Black countries. It was then that they were labeled Black. Prior to traveling to non-Black nations, they were known by their tribe or who their father was, their profession, etc. It's really difficult for African Americans to understand because we have never existed in that context in the U.S. But you can imagine that if you lived in a place where nearly everyone looked like you and had a similar story, that your skin color would not be a defining factor. There are Africans that self-identify as Black. I think this is a generational thing. Due to the proliferation of media, younger generations are much more likely to identify with the plight of Black people throughout the world and partially view themselves through an African American lens. You can see it in the way younger Africans present, their slang and intentional cultural shifts. Pan-Africanists also self-identify as Black, along with their other titles including ethnic group, clan, family station, etc. How much they identify with being Black will be dependent on how much exposure to the world outside of Africa they have and the amount of research they have done on the topic. So you might be curious, how am I defined in Africa? I wrote a whole article that was published in Zora magazine entitled, "What Does It Mean to Be Black in Africa?" Please check it out if you have time. I cover all of these issues in the article. I was living in Zanzibar when I wrote the article, a place where I look like the people and they look like me, and yet they identified more with being of Arab descent than Black. In fact, to call someone Black in Zanzibar is an insult. Now I'm in Kenya, and Kenyans see me as one of them. Sometimes I have a hard time convincing them that my roots are not in Kenya, as far as I know. Nonetheless, they welcome me home. As far as they are concerned, I'm an African that has returned to her rightful place. Hey there, fashion lovers. Are you ready to explore Nairobi's fashion scene like a local? Join me, your personal wardrobe stylist, on an unforgettable fashion tour that will take you off the beaten path. Skip the malls and crowded Maasai markets and let's go where market vendors purchase products wholesale. Then we'll experience hidden gems and the best eclectic boutiques in Nairobi, followed by lunch at one of the city's best farm-to-table restaurants. As an experienced wardrobe stylist, I will provide you with personalized style advice and help you find the perfect ensembles to match your personality and taste. You'll also get the opportunity to meet local designers and learn about their creative processes. If you're an adventurous traveler who enjoys unique and beautiful things, this half-day fashion tour was created for you. I've already discovered the best and most eclectic so you can avoid tourist traps. Whether you're a fashion enthusiast or simply looking for a fun and informative way to experience Nairobi, our eclectic fashion tour is the perfect choice. Book your spot now via Airbnb Experiences and get ready to indulge in Nairobi's unique fashion culture. African Americans want Black people to be our type of Black. We gotta stop this. It's misguided and ignorant. Listen, there are all types of Black. In the article, I state, in America, we have taken on Blackness with such pride that it's a badge of honor. I'm Black and I'm proud. It's our identity, and we want everyone of African descent to claim Black, but that's not how it works. We also want them to be Black just like us in mannerisms, experiences, expression, and culture. We want them to be our type of Black. On the low, African Americans want every person of African descent to regard white people the same as we do, with learned distrust. We don't understand why African students come to American universities and seek out white friends. We don't get why they enjoy country music, which has become a symbol of oppression for us, similar to the Confederate flag. What we don't realize is that yes, slavery took place throughout East, West, Central, and even some parts of Southern Africa. But they didn't experience Jim Crow, crack cocaine planted in their communities by their governments, redlining, school-to-prison pipelines, widespread police brutality, or gentrification. Again, South Africa is one of the few exceptions. And as I mentioned previously, they are conveniently not taught about the atrocities that occurred during colonization in detail. I truly empathize with African children that come to the U.S. and are forced to assimilate within stereotypical Black culture when they have little cultural context. Racism and the legacy of enslavement largely defines Black Americans. The United States has concocted a unique experience. It isn't that racism hasn't impacted people of African descent throughout the diaspora, but the way in which racism manifests in America is slightly different. America makes you choose. One parent might be Greek, the other Black, but in America, the one-drop rule is queen. It doesn't matter how you choose to self-identify. If you're not white, you are deemed other. If you are Black appearing, whether you like it or not, you've already been labeled. If you are of African descent in the United States and you don't claim Black, you are viewed as a traitor to your race, an Oreo, confused. Similar experiences bind us. Enslaved ancestors, grandparents from the South, the Great Migration, greens, cornbread, deep fried everything, racism, government-sponsored terrorism, Jim Crow, fear, lynchings, the hood, struggle, jazz, perseverance, invention, and triumph. Experiences solidify our Blackness. Racial solidarity is important. We are more powerful in numbers. When I was a teenager in the 80s, I was coached by my elders to claim Black whenever I was given the opportunity to choose, regardless of the fact that I have European and Indigenous American ancestry. In school, at the doctor's office, for employment, and on any form that was presented for me to identify myself, I had to select Black or African American. Even the NAACP would come to schools and churches to lecture us on the importance of checking the right box. I was told that if I didn't, our community wouldn't receive vital government funding. We needed all the help we could get, lest those funds be earmarked for larger communities. Most Africans are clueless to these experiences. We can't possibly expect them to view the world through our lens or to claim something that they know very little about. We are of African descent. We are sometimes very different and yet strikingly similar. And isn't that the beauty of life? That's it for this episode. Thank you for joining me on Blaxit to Africa. If you liked what you heard, please share and leave a review. May you thrive. May you be inspired. May you move with love and intention. Until next time.